Welcome to the Drew Yari Show.
Hey, what's going on, guys? If you're already listening to the show, it's Friday. I'm recording on a Thursday as usual, and welcome back to the show. And this show is brought to you by Podcorn. Anthony Missionary Thomas, or just Mish as we know him, and Kevin Castle, they just did their show yesterday. They do a show usually every Wednesday. Usually comes out every Wednesday. And they're the ones that inspired me to sign up for Podcorn. Podcorn is, I'm not sure how new it is, but basically you can get paid for your podcast. You can get sponsors. And if you're a podcaster like me, if you're just a podcaster like me, this is what you want to do. Sign up for Podcorn today. Link up your podcast at RSS code, and see the sponsorships come rolling in. They haven't just for me, not yet. I just signed up today, but I'm just testing out, see how it works. So far, I like it. Seems pretty simple to sign up to. Anyone can do it, even you. So sign up today for Podcorn. Hopefully they like that advertisement I gave them. So, pretty basic show today. Have some nice things to cover. Talk about SmackDown, Raw, NXT, AEW from last night, and a few other news items. So let me just get into the wrestling shit real quick. Well, I mean, the show's essentially a wrestling show. Well, I mean, not essentially, it is a wrestling show, but let me talk about the wrestling shows real quick. What's here? So SmackDown from last week, that was on the 7th. Kicked off with Roman Reigns making his return to SmackDown after being out for COVID. Comes out, talks a little bit of mess, says, when you're in isolation, you do a lot of thinking. The two people I never want to see again are Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. Lesnar and Heyman come out, of course, getting a huge reaction. Brock egging on Roman, saying we should put our titles on the line, champion versus champion, title versus title. There can only be one champion. Only one champion can rule them all. And, Roman just says, no, I'm done. This is my show. And things happen here when I say they happen. And, Brock was egging him on. And Paul, says, Brock, can you not talk to Roman that way? So there's still something there. I'm still not convinced what's going on with this storyline. Like, I'm not sure if this is just going to be one big screw job. Like, sounds kind of weird to say. Does Paul still have feelings for Roman? He just got back with his ex, but does he still have feelings for Roman? I mean, maybe he does. I don't know. But I'm always interested to see where this storyline goes. This obviously looks like it's going to be the main event of WrestleMania. Title for title, how we get there, is how we get there. As far as I know, there's not going to be any pay-per-views between. Actually, I'm wrong. There's going to be a Saudi Arabia show in February, a premium level event. Other than that, what else is between there? I don't know. But I'm kind of glad there's not like an elimination chamber between that. I mean, for WrestleMania, between Rumble and WrestleMania, there should be no main events. Like, that's how you build up WrestleMania. That's how you build up the feuds. I mean, you can just easily have tournaments for whoever the title match is going to be, or I don't know. But that's the big main event. That's the only main event that looks like we're gonna have. The other matches, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming WrestleMania is going to be 2 nights again. The first night can be other title matches, and the second night can just be the main title match. I don't know. I don't know what you do, but, again, I'm not creative. Rick Boogs versus Sami Zayn. It was a match. It happened. So, didn't really care about this match. Charlotte Flair had her Royal Rumble announcement. And she announced the women's Royal Rumble participants, which I'm going to pull up right now. I saved the picture because this coincides with some big news. Okay, let's see. So, not 30, I think it's like 18, like 17, 18. So far the participants are Shotzi Blackheart. I'm gonna do the current women instead of the surprise women first. I'm gonna do the current women. So Shotzi Blackheart, the women's tag team champions Zelina Vega and Carmella, Naomi, Rhea Ripley, Nikki, Ash, Aaliyah, Natalia, Shayna Baszler. Who the hell is that? Oh yeah, Tamina, and the 24/7 champion Dana Brooke. Now here comes the surprise participants. You got Michelle McCool, the Bella Twins, who just said that they're clear to wrestle. Lita, it's good to see Lita back. Kelly, Summer Rae, who just doesn't age, and the Impact Women's Champion Mickie James. So the Impact Wrestling Women's Champion Mickie James will be making her comeback. Oh, not her comeback, but she'll be showing up in the Rumble. Interesting note was a lot of people had said WWE was the one to acknowledge her as the Impact Wrestling Women's Champion, when in fact, I just learned about this today, it was actually Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee, who's clearly well in tune with wrestling, wrestling outside of WWE, had referred to her as the Impact Wrestling Women's Champion on live TV. I mean, Pat has his knack for, going into business for himself. And I can imagine that gets him in a lot of trouble. But, they obviously love him up there, and I love him. And so on Twitter, they put it out, the Impact Wrestling Women's Champion Mickie James will be in the Royal Rumble. And who was it? Scotty D'Amore, was the owner or the owner or the vice president of Impact Wrestling, had said, hey, we worked out a deal, quote unquote, the forbidden door is open. And Mickie said the same thing. So now we have the possibility of WWE and Impact Wrestling do business together. And I think that's a good idea. I can imagine they'll do a much better job of that forbidden door deal than AEW did with Impact Wrestling. What exactly did they do on that show? Kenny Omega showed up for one night, and the ratings just went up for a tad, and they continued to go down even when he was on the show. It's like, yeah, he's on a draw. And then what exactly, who from Impact besides the Douche Brothers showed up on AEW? Nobody. Granted, Mickie James is a WWE original, but it's still somebody from Impact. You look at Moose. Moose is teasing about, wrestling Roman Reigns. He says, I'm the wrestling god, and you're the head of the table. That'd be cool. Moose looks like something. He looks like $1 million. Roman looks like $1 million. That'd be an interesting matchup. How interesting would it be for Roman Reigns to show up on Impact? Impact Wrestling acknowledge me. Probably wouldn't happen. I don't see Roman as somebody that would snub his nose at doing it. He seems like the type of guy that would, if the company asked him to do something, he would do it. But I don't know if they would send him over there. That's the thing. I can see AJ Styles going to Impact. Because if we remember, once upon a time, Ric Flair had worked for TNA, and they did not really a trade, but you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. And, Ric Flair showed up at the Hall of Fame while he was in TNA, and Christian, while he was in WWE, showed up at Impact to do a special anniversary thing or whatever. There's a possibility of AJ Styles showing up on Impact. I mean, AJ said straight up in an interview recently, I'm at the point where I want to help out the young guys. You know, that's why you see him on NXT, which we'll talk about in a bit. I mean, there's a possibility, because I believe there's a rumor that Nick Aldis might be in the Rumble. I mean, because they said there's more Forbidden Door, quote-unquote, people that might even show up in the Rumble. Nick Aldis would, be interesting because Nick Aldis looks like a wrestler. I mean, there's a world where NWA could jump on this Forbidden Door deal, and we can see Nick Aldis show up on NXT and challenge, Steiner. It's possible. It's very possible because, it's been done before. If we're getting the 90s, ACW struck a deal with WWE where ECW showed up on, Monday Night Raw. And Jerry Lawler showed up on an episode of ECW and just beat the shit out of Tommy Dreamer. Like, it could happen, and it's good for business. And I think WWE, again, will do a much better job of it than AEW, in my opinion. Just throw them over there. And those are my socks. It's fine. Well, I don't want the fan interfering with the sound.
Are you recording already?
Yes. Give me that face.
Face I want.
No, you will not. You should. Man. My buns is growling.
My buns is growling.
I need something.
Your no pickle chicken burger.
Yeah, I'm not exactly thrilled about it.
That's what you get.
I asked you if you wanted something, you said no.
From a place like you.
I just like their chicken sandwiches, okay?
And yet, it didn't work.
Yeah, because I didn't go there because somebody was parked behind me.
And you can drive a car, hello?
Ready to get your pants?
Oh, shut up.
And your pantalones. Alright, so that was, sorry about that random dialogue. That was Betty. She was getting pants and we were just talking for a little bit. So where was I? Oh yeah. Forbidden Door. NWA Impact. It'd be interesting. It'd be nice to see Nick Aldis show up on the Royal Rumble. It'd be nice to see Moose show up in Royal Rumble. It'd be nice to see Diana Purrazzo or Tasha Steelz. That'd be good. It's good for business. And also get Impact a lot more notoriety. I don't know when I said this, but there needs to be a strong third option in wrestling because, there's too much. It's good that there's competition. It's good that there's places for other guys to go, but, Tony Khan can't just sign everybody because he has other guys to worry about because now it's become a thing of where the TNA originals, quote unquote, are, they have to and they don't have to fight for TV time because now you got CM Punk, now you got Bryan Danielson, now you got, I'm trying to think of more names, Ruby Soho, now you got Malachi Black, and now you just got Brody King. Eventually you're going to get the Briscoes. So guys like Brian Pillman, guys like Griff Garrison, guys like fucking Jungle Boy. They're the tag champions, but let's be real, how long is that going to last? They're fighting for TV time, and I'm sick of seeing Orange Cassidy. I don't know why he's still on TV, and we'll talk more about AEW. I'm sick of the Young Bucks. Give me Kenny Omega. I mean, at this point, Kenny Omega's kind of in hot water right now, but yeah, I mean, there needs to be a strong third option. I mean, if Impact Wrestling could get like a good buyer and get on a national network that people actually watch, that'd be good. I mean, shit, I don't know. I want to see a third option. I want to see a strong third option, whether it be existing or new. Like, there needs to be a strong third option for other guys to go. That's just how I feel. So, yeah, Naomi versus Charlotte Flair. Naomi won a title shot. And twice in the match, Sonya, I want to call her Sonya Blaze. Sonya Deville kept coming out and changing the stipulation. And Charlotte ended up winning the match. It was what it was. I mean, Naomi's good in the ring, but, you know, it is what it is. The match was what it was. And I still don't get the point of the whole Sonya Deville Naomi rivalry. I really don't. I don't get where it started or why it started. Because I don't really care about it. I didn't care about it then. I don't care about it now. Next, you had the Happy Talk, and the Viking Raiders had Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss. Moss came out pretending to be Drew McIntyre, and then they defeated the Viking Ratings. Drew McIntyre is going to be out for a while. Apparently, he's going to be out for the Rumble, and I think he's going to be out for WrestleMania. He has a neck injury, so I have no idea how serious it is. Now you have the main event, street fight for the tag titles. New Day versus Usos. Because we haven't seen that a million times. I thought the match was fine. I mean, because, again, these two have no issues putting on a good match. I mean, that's not really what I'm complaining about. It's just like, I'm just counting down the minutes. I'm counting down the days, the seconds of when we're finally done with this brand split, and we can just have one set of tag champions, because I am tired of this shit. Like, there needs to, like, these titles need to mean something. Like, I'm what are they fucking yelling about now? Like, I need to see better matchups. I need to see more teams that are hungrier for these titles, instead of just New Day versus Usos, New Day versus Usos, New Day versus Usos, Randy RK Bro versus blah blah blah. You know, when that happens, you're going to see more hungrier teams. You're going to see the titles actually mean something. When they put the titles on somebody, it's going to be like, oh shit, like, those guys are over. When there's just one title and you put them on one person or persons, like, it really speaks volumes of how over that person is. Actually, Adam Page. We'll talk about that later. And then at the end, Usos won. At the end of the show, well, before that, Adam Page, you know, apparently was given, I guess, permission to pick Roman's opponent. And, you know, he's about to tell Roman, I picked your opponent. And Roman's like, okay, well, I've already beaten everybody, so leave. And then at the end of the match, Roman's watching the match in his locker room, and all of a sudden you hear a knock at the door. At first, I thought it was going to be Goldberg, because Roman was supposed to wrestle Goldberg, you know, a while ago, but then COVID happened, and then Roman decided to, you know, peace out. But, you know, you hear a knock at the door. It sounded like Goldberg's theme, but it was actually the Shield theme. And you see Seth Rollins come in and just, like, you know, stare at Roman, and Roman's like, really? And then Seth just starts laughing, which I don't know why it made me laugh. It just did. It just seen Seth laugh. So that was SmackDown. SmackDown was fine. It, you know, SmackDown's always fine. It's a good show to watch. I mean, there's always good wrestling on it. Raw wasn't terrible this week, but we'll get to Raw. Let me just get to the ratings real quick. I'm sorry. The January 7th edition of SmackDown got 2.16 million, which is up from the December 24th, the Christmas Eve edition, because apparently they didn't have a show on New Year's Eve. So it was up from the ratings from that day, which was 1.7. So, good for SmackDown. All right, let me just set this back real quick. Okay. All right. Let's go to Raw. Monday Night Raw. Opening segment. You had Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman come out. And then MVP and Bobby Lashley came out. Before that, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin walked up, and Lashley told them there's no longer the Hurt Business. We're done. Lashley gets in Lesnar's face and talks a little shit, saying, you've been ducking me for years. And Lesnar just says, I literally didn't know who you were until day one. I'm I'm funny and I make money. And then he does a knock-knock joke and says, hey, Paul, knock knock, who's there? Bobby who? Exactly. I like this Brock Lesnar. He seems happy. He seems like he's having fun. He just doesn't care anymore. Like he's already made enough money. He's like, I'm just going to go out there and be a goof. Like, him being a goof is a lot more scarier than him just out there, monotone and staring at the screen and, jumping around. Like Brock's actually having fun. I like this Brock. So, again, I wish this could have been WrestleMania, which, because Royal Rumble's on the 29th, so another 2 weeks. This could have used a better build-up. Not to say that the build-up isn't already good, but a longer build-up. And then Alexander and Benjamin trying to ambush Lashley. Lashley just beat the shit out of him. Next, you had RK Bro versus Alpha Academy for the tag titles. Alpha Academy winning. They're the new tag champions. Didn't see that coming. I mean, I would have thought they would have hung on to those titles for a while. But they're already kind of teasing dissension with RK Bro. Orton kind of getting, well, not kind of, but he's getting pissed off at, Riddle for making just small mistakes. How this ends up to be, with whether it be Riddle turning heel or Orton turning heel. Orton's already been heel. Orton's at the point in his life where he doesn't need to be heel. Like, let's see how Riddle works out as a heel. He's not intimidating. I think that's his only problem. But I know Riddle can whoop my ass. He can whoop anyone's ass. But he doesn't come off as intimidating. He's very much a bro. Like, he just talks like this. Like, I couldn't take him seriously as a heel. He's over with the fans. Orton's over with the fans. Orton got a big reaction. He had a big pop in Philly. With that crowd, that seemed like it was kind of lackadaisical, to say the least. But I don't know. We'll find out in a few weeks. Maybe it'll happen at the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view. I know, but good for Alpha Academy. Good for Otis and Chad Gable. I think Chad Gable was, amazing. I think he's a great in-ring performer. I think if you were a little bigger, if you were at least maybe like 6'3" and 230 pounds, he could be a main eventer. He could be the next Kurt Angle. He's a small Kurt Angle at this point. And he needs a little bit more personality. But good for Alpha Academy. I like the team. It seems like a lot of people don't like the team. I don't know why. I like them. I like Olympic teams. I like teams like I like, the world's greatest tag team. I like the Creed brothers. I like those teams that look like a college, amateur wrestling team. I was too young for the Steiner brothers, so it wouldn't be fair for me to say that. But they were a good team as well. But good for Alpha Academy. I hope this isn't just like a short-term thing. Next, you had the Dirty Dogs, and Apollo Crews versus just Street Profits and Damian Priest. Ziggler got the win for his team. And match was what it was. What else can we say? Biggie versus Seth Rollins. We'll back it up. So Seth Rollins came out and talked about how he would be facing Roman at the Royal Rumble. And then Biggie came in and talked a little bit of shit and then wanted a match. And Seth was like, all right, you want a match? Let's get a match. And I thought the match was pretty good. These two seem to work well together. With the contrast styles, Biggie is more of a power wrestler, if that's the best way to put it. Seth is an all-around mat. I don't want to say mat wrestler. He's just an all-around wrestler. He does things. Seth does things. And I thought it was a good match. Good back and forth action. I liked that they gave Seth this win, clean as a sheet, instead of it being he got a cheap win. It makes him look stronger heading into the Rumble. So, and then Biggie just looks like he's back to mid-card status. And I don't hate Biggie. I like Biggie, but I mean his title run was just not very good. His title run was a failure. He got bad ratings. He got the lowest ratings of any champion I've seen in a while. I mean, Lashley was able to get better ratings. Even Drew was able to get better ratings. Biggie is probably one of the most lowest drawing, or lowest rating champions in a while. I think probably the lowest since maybe Seth. So, I mean, I hate to say it, I'm just speaking the truth. And I even said it before. Biggie as the champion, he looked more like an Intercontinental champion than a world champion. Almost versus some jobber. Almost looking like a beast. That's how you should push him. AJ Styles versus Austin Theory. Ended in disqualification when Grayson Waller came out and cost him the match. I'm kind of... Is it fair to make this statement? I'm kind of done with the whole Vince McMahon Austin Theory thing. It doesn't really seem like it's helping Austin, because, if this were Vince McMahon from, maybe 15 years ago, then probably. But, if I'm Austin, I'm sitting there pretending I can hear what this fucking man's saying. I never in my life had to actually lean in while I'm watching TV to hear what somebody's saying. Because all I hear is Vince just... Egg. Razor. The Queen of Soul. Lady the Wrangler. Vince needs to not be on TV. Vince needs to not be on TV, and he needs to not be running a wrestling company in 2022. If there's board members watching this, they need to make a decision on to possibly getting rid of this guy. I mean, again, I don't know how big companies work. I would imagine a corporation that has, CEOs and board members that's publicly traded are seeing this and going, this is not looking good. This is not looking good. But, what matters to WWE is that they're making money. What matters to them is all the wrong reasons. I mean, I shouldn't say wrong, because as a company you should want to make money. But if you're a company where your product is seen by millions of people, it used to be seen by billions. Now it's only now it's only probably seen by maybe hundreds of millions. That should be an issue. I don't know. Then again, what do I know? But yeah, poor Austin Theory. Then you had the main event, which was a triple threat with Bianca Belair, Doudrop, and Liv Morgan. The winner will face Becky Lynch at the Royal Rumble for the title. The women's title, actually. Raw women's title. Doudrop got the win, which is pretty surprising. I mean, I don't want to say it's surprising, because we've already seen Liv and Becky, and that was kind of a flop. Bianca versus Becky, we did kind of see, but that match ended in disqualification because Sasha interfered. So I'm pretty sure they're saving Bianca and Becky for WrestleMania. So Doudrop is getting a shot, which I mean, good for her. I mean, because she's very talented. She can work. She's definitely not a Nia Jax where she's difficult to work with, where she hurts people, as far as I know. And she seems very confident in her abilities, so I like her. I hate the fucking dumb name, though. I hate Dewdrop. Just call her Piper Niven. Like, just call her Piper Niven. Why is that so hard? Piper Niven's a good name. Why call her Dewdrop? I mean, the rumor is that they're calling her Dewdrop as a synonym for Dewdrop the Weight, which, if that's true, go fuck yourself. I mean, it's 2021. Come on. I mean, are they going to say the same thing about, what is it, Nikita, what the fuck is her name? Nikita Lyons? We'll talk about her in a bit, but, oof, thicker than a Snicker. That's all I gotta say. But I mean, I'm looking forward to see how this match works because, Becky is a professional, and Dewdrop's a professional. So they obviously see something in her to give her this match. And maybe if she does well enough, we'll be seeing more of her. We'll be seeing more of her as, one of the top women in the division. And again, it's not like she's ugly. She's actually very pretty. And I got nothing against big girls. I like big girls. I've dated big girls. And she's cute in the face, thick in the waist. And she has a very good personality about herself. She seems like the type of person that if you told her she was pretty, she would blush. Like, she just seems like a nice person. And I follow her on social media. She's married. Lucky guy. She's a sweetheart. I like her. I want to see how she does in this match. And I'll be looking forward to this match. So that was Raw. Let's get to my ratings, or Raw ratings. So Raw dropped off a little bit. They were 1,632,000, which is a drop off from last week, 1,716,000, which is not terrible, but I mean, this is a show that had Brock Lesnar on it and Bobby Lashley and pretty much all their, main hitters, especially Brock Lesnar. So, I mean, we'll see how this works coming forward, the lead up to Mania. Let's talk about NXT 2.0, which was last Tuesday. Santos Escobar versus Zion Quinn. The winner leaves with Elektra Lopez, who, again, I just said thicker than a Snicker. She is thicker than a Snicker. Oof. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Escobar won. The match was fine. Good back and forth action. I like Quinn. Here's my only thing I'm kind of having an issue with a lot of wrestlers, and I said the same thing about Waller. Can we stop with the kickboxer gear? Like, if you're actually a kickboxer, then that's fine, but why do you need to wear gloves? Why do you need to wear kickboxer gear? Just dress like a wrestler. Like, that is all. Whatever. Anyways, the match was fine. Elektra Lopez got the win for her team, so she leaves with Escobar. So now Zion Quinn has to go cry himself to sleep because he didn't get Escobar. Cameron Grimes versus a jobber. Grimes won. What happened after that? Oh, and then he teases going after Carmelo Hayes. Dusty Classic Qualifier. Try saying that 3 times real fast. Joe Gacy and Harlan versus Idris Enofe and Malik Blade. Blade and Enofe win by disqualification because Harlan comes in and starts beating the shit out of, I believe it was Blade. And he wouldn't stop after the count of 5. Which, that was fucking stupid. I mean, it almost seemed like a surefire thing that Gacy and Harlan would win. But you disqualify him for what reason exactly? Like, I don't know, that was dumb. Like, the whole thing of Harlan losing control, that was just kind of stupid. Like, I get it, but I still think it's stupid. And I also think Harlan looks like he's going to be a bigger deal than Gacy. Like, I don't... I'm going to say something that might piss a lot of people off. Like, I don't see much in Joe Gacy. I know a lot of people like him and they think he's Bray Wyatt. I mean, Bray Wyatt was a lot better than Joe Gacy. He looked a lot more intimidating. I know Gacy's whole thing is supposed to be this creepy, left wing, hippie or whatever you want to call him. But I don't know. I don't really see much in Joe Gacy. I think Harlan looks like he's going to be a much bigger deal. Sorry, that's just me. Crowbar on a pole, Pete Dunne versus Tony D'Angelo. Tony D's nuts. It was odd. It's a crowbar on a pole match, but the ref was counting to 10 when they went outside. Funny. Enjoyable match. It was what it was. Pete Dunne, I know I've always said I'm not the biggest Pete Dunne fan. Pete Dunne was fine in this match. Like, Pete Dunne's whole thing is he's the bruiserweights. He's a bruiserweight and he snap your fingers. And Tony D'Angelo, I think he's good in the ring. The whole stereotypical Italian thing, I just can't get past. Like, I don't know. They could have found a better gimmick for him, but whatever. I thought the match was fine. It was a good back and forth fight. Like, it was a gimmick match. Like, what else can you expect? And Tony ended up getting the win because he had the crowbar. And what is it? Let's see. He ended up smashing Pete Dunne's face with a bowl. I had to remember this shit. This is why I don't take notes. Well, I mean, this is probably why I should take notes. Again, fun match. It seemed like a lot of people liked it. Even Kevin Castle liked it, but Kevin Castle likes everything. He likes everything WWE related, so what does he know? I'm playing. Next, you had Hartwell and Perota and Wendy Chu versus Casey Catanzaro, Caden Carter, and Amari Miller. Here's one thing that kind of fucking blew my mind. So, I didn't know who this Wendy Chu girl was. Like, the only thing I've been seeing of her, obviously, is that her gimmick is that she falls asleep. And apparently she used to be the scary Asian woman that Boa and Xia Li were afraid of. And now she's this random, not scary Asian girl that falls asleep randomly in the performance center and during matches. And I'm just like, okay, what the fuck? Like talk about a downgrade. Like, I don't want to say a downgrade, but talk about like a real change in performance. Like, oh my god. You know what? I'm shitting on the gimmick, but not really. Like, I don't really have a problem with the gimmick. It's like, I mean, and anyone who loves Orange Cassidy but thinks this gimmick is stupid, you can just seriously go F yourself. Like, straight up, like, go F yourself. If you think this gimmick is stupid and you love Orange Cassidy. And the babyfaces won: Hartwell, Perota, and Chu. Hartwell is just cute as a button. And Chu apparently falls asleep during matches. Oh, man. And she looks like she's having fun in the role. Like, I can imagine. How do you pitch that to somebody? Like, how do you pitch that to a wrestler? It's like, okay, you just played this really. I know you just played this really scary, like, female Shang Tsung gimmick. Now, your next gimmick, wait for it, you're gonna fall asleep. You're gonna be randomly falling asleep in different areas of the performance center. You're gonna be wearing pajamas, you're gonna have a face mask, and you're gonna have a pillow and a blanket. Like, everywhere. You're gonna fall asleep, not just in the backstage, you're gonna fall asleep out in the ring. You're gonna fall asleep in the audience. That's your gimmick. And Wendy Chu was just like, well, the pay is good. She's like, how much am I getting paid again? Oh, okay. Well, then, fuck it. Oh, man. Good. Hey, good on Wendy Chu. Get that money. Next, you have Solo Sikoa versus Boa, which ended in DQ, or no, not DQ, double count out. They're fighting all over the arena. Sikoa I like. I just call him Uso. Call him Fatu. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm still complaining about Braun Breaker. Like, just call him Steiner, but whatever. I know he agreed and wanted the name Braun Breaker because he didn't want to mooch off of his dad's success, but it's just like, I think you probably should have just went with Steiner. Same thing with Solo Sikoa. Just call him Uso because the crowd already chants Uso. And the Usos acknowledge him on social media. They acknowledge him. And he's more than likely going to show up on the main roster joining the Bloodline. So, and I like him. I think he's good in the ring. If they push him right, I'd be interested to see a matchup with him and Steiner. Boa, I don't think is that much of anything. Sorry. Then in the backstage, Boa throws a fireball at Sikoa's face, and then the camera pans up and he has the face paint on. The face paint is cool. Him, not so much. And then Carmelo Hayes comes in the ring, talks a little bit of mess. Talks about how he's the new champion. Talks about his next challenger, and that's when AJ Styles hits his music, which, gathers some interest of a possible AJ Styles versus Carmelo Hayes match, which, coincides with the main event. AJ Styles versus Grayson Waller, singles match. I thought the match was fine. I thought it was a good match. I'm not sold on Waller. I can't tell what he wants to be because his gimmick is that he's this social media troll that wants likes on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook or whatever, and he comes to the ring dressed like a kickboxer. He wears basketball shorts and basketball shoes and wears like boxing gloves. So I don't know what his gimmick is supposed to be. I really don't. I don't know what he thinks he wants his gimmick to be, but nonetheless, he looked fine in this match. I mean, granted, he has AJ Styles to work with. AJ friggin' Styles. Like, who better to make you look at $1 million? And the match was fine. AJ won, which he should have. AJ, I want to see more of him in NXT. I mean, I think that's kind of where we're going because he's not with Omos anymore. Just put him on NXT. Have him go out there and have matches with Steiner. I mean, because AJ has a history with the Steiners. He worked with Scott Steiner in TNA. And again, Steiner's he's shown he can work. And a lot of his best matches are against guys who can work. Like Ciampa, like Gargano. And put him in there with freaking AJ Styles. He's going to make him look like $1 million. I want to see that match. Have AJ work against Ciampa. Have AJ work against Hayes. Like, have him work against Cameron Grimes. Like, just do that. Like, that will be so good. That'd be so good for NXT. That'd be so good for all those guys. Like, I want to see that. Like, if you don't have anything for most guys to do on the main roster, put them on NXT. Kind of like you do with Finn. Matter of fact, at this point, put Finn back on NXT. You aren't doing anything with Finn. Put him back on NXT. Put Rey Mysterio on NXT. Like, it's really going to benefit a lot of these guys who have never wrestled a match before to wrestle against somebody that has experience. A guy like Von Wagner, who I think is terrible. I mean, granted, he's new. I mean, give him another year, but have like a one-night only match. Put Drew McIntyre on NXT and have him wrestle against Von Wagner. Have AJ work against Von Wagner. Just do something for these guys. These guys need to get better. These girls need to get better too. Have Bayley show up on NXT and work a match against Cora Jade. Have Sasha work against Cora. Like that would be amazing. Have Asuka work against some of these girls. That would be good. That'd be good for television. That'd be good for the fans. That'd be good for the wrestlers. That's all we want to see. That is all we want to see. LA Knight made his return. and beat the hell out of Waller. And but Knight and AJ had a stare down, but they shook hands and embraced each other as friends with a common enemy. And it's good to see LA Knight. I like LA Knight. Again, he's a guy that I'm like, why isn't he on the main roster already? He definitely needs to be on the main roster. He has a look, he can talk, and he can work. But then again, what do I know? So let's look at the ratings for NXT. They dropped off a little bit. 647,000. They were 685,000 from New Year's Evil. Oh, again, I thought NXT was pretty good. That is just my 2 cents. So let's look at AEW from last night on TBS. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish open the show and just talk a little bit of mess, and then Matt and Nick Jackson come out. Talk a little bit of mess with them. The best friends, or the Puddin' Gang, as Jim Cornette would say, comes out to try and even the odds. Which... Can we stop with Orange Cassidy? Can we stop with Orange Cassidy already, please? I mean, Jeff Lippman told me he's a ratings draw, which he couldn't even explain. He couldn't even explain to me how he's a ratings draw. He's apparently a ratings draw, even though he gets no reaction from anybody. He gets zero reaction from the crowd. He gets zero reaction when he walks to the ring, and yet he's a ratings draw. Like I need to see this proof. I'm not trying to say Jeff is lying, but I think he's lying. So he comes to the ring, and then Adam Cole and Orange, Cassidy have their face off, and he takes him out. And then what is her name? Chris Statlander gets in Adam Cole's face. Adam Cole's not gonna hit a lady, but who will hit a lady? Britt Baker. Britt Baker comes to the ring, takes her out. Adam motions to the Young Bucks to give him a kiss on the cheek, and then Britt says, "Huh, you're not gonna kiss him, I will." So now Britt's joined up with Adam Cole, which is good because, Britt's over. Adam Cole's on TV. I don't like what they've done with Adam Cole. Like they made him mean less to me than he was on NXT, because at least when he was on NXT, he wrestled better talent. He wrestled talent that could actually work a match and weren't complete idiots and didn't act like complete goofs. And I know I'm going on my Jim Cornette rant, but bear with me, I have a point. You saw him wrestle the likes of like Ciampa or Gargano or Cross, Finn, just guys like those. You put him on AEW. He had that one good match with not Orange Cassidy, but Jungle Boy, and he's been wrestling Orange Cassidy ever since. He had a 20-minute competitive match against Jake Atlas, and Jake Atlas ended up getting hurt. So even with the Undisputed Era, reunited, I still don't care. I mean, they've already kind of sullied it, because it's just like, how is it that the Undisputed Era is supposed to be intimidated by the best friends? They run out whenever they come out. How is that possible? Like, if I'm Adam Cole, I'm like, this is stupid. It's like, I could have been a star in WWE. And the rumor is that when they put him on the main roster, they wanted to put him in a managerial role, which he said wasn't really truthful. But it's just like, I don't know. At this point, Adam, you probably should have taken the money. You probably should have taken whatever money they were offering you, whatever role they were offering you, because you kind of look stupid here. I just gotta call a spade a spade. But yeah, we got Britt Baker and Adam Cole, finally pairing up in AEW. Next we have CM Punk versus Wardlow. Where do I begin with this match? So, I said it was 6 power bombs. Was it 6 power bombs? I could have sworn it was 6. Somebody said it was 8, but Wardlow, for the most part, is dominating the match. Like, he's beating the crap out of CM Punk, and MJF is at ringside, you barking orders saying, I want you to powerbomb. So he goes for his powerbomb, finally. Because for the most part, Punk was, ducking the powerbombs. And then Wardlow finally got the powerbombs on him. Did a symphony, but right when he was about to go to pin him, MJF stood in the apron and said, no, don't pin him. Keep powerbombing him. So he keeps powerbombing him, and then MJF yells at Wardlow, powerbomb him through the table. What am I paying you for? And he powerbombs him through the table. And he's able to beat the count of 10. Goes for another powerbomb. MJF keeps yelling at it, yells at him, keep doing it. So CM Punk at this point took 6 powerbombs, especially one through a table. Somebody said it was 8 powerbombs. I'm going to say so it was 6. I saw 6. Maybe I need to watch it again. But 6 powerbombs, including one through a table. Has enough energy to roll up Wardlow for a fucking pin. 1, 2, 3. Did that elevate Wardlow? Did that really elevate Wardlow? I don't think so. If it would have been preposterous if it were a competitive match because Wardlow is so much bigger. And Wardlow, that is not the type of match that Wardlow works. Wardlow is not the type of guy that's going to work a competitive match with the guy the size of CM Punk. And I'm glad that they haven't been pushing him like that. Like, if he has to get in the ring with Adam Cole or Orange Cassidy, he's going to have to work a competitive match, quote unquote. But they were smart enough to say, okay, CM Punk is smaller and thinner and older, so let's not make this too competitive like Punk's other matches. But they could have found a much better way to come on. Like, come on. Like, you know what they could have done? Since last week when Punk cost MJF the match against Captain Shawn Dean, this is what they could have done. Like, when the ref's down, or the ref's not really looking. Or no, the ref could have been looking the whole time. And then Punk put his Dynamite Diamond ring on it. Or Dynamite Diamond ring on. And he's about to punch Wardlow so that way he can get revenge on Punk. Wardlow could have been like, oh, and ducked. And he ends up hitting Punk. And the match is disqualified and Punk gets the win. Like, that's how you could have done it. That's how you could have done it without having to bury Wardlow. And I know I'm being too liberal with the word bury. But that didn't make Wardlow look good. I'm sorry. Like, the CM Punk experiment is stupid. Like, I hate it. I don't care for it. I'm not going to say I hate it, but it's just like, Punk comes out and gives the same promos. He talks about WWE. He talks about how happy he is in insert town of insert city that we're in. Like, MJF is owning Punk on the mic. Because MJF is speaking with more vitriol and fire and venom. Whereas Punk is just same old, same old. There's nothing new or original about his promos. So they could have found a much creative way to have Punk win. Because Punk's not going to lose for a while. I don't know who he's going to lose to. If he's going to lose to anybody, I would say maybe Omega or like Danielson. But I don't know. I was already worried about this match going in, and my sentiments exactly. So MJF gets in the ring with Wardlow and starts poking him in the chest. He's saying, what do I pay you for? What do I pay you for? And then Wardlow grabs his hand to squeeze it. And MJF's like, oh, just let me go. And that's when Sean Spears... Hold up. So Sean Spears comes in to kind of cool everything down. After which, a little later, MJF comes out and tells Punk, you want the match? You want the match? Next week it's going to be CM Punk versus not Wardlow, Sean Spears. So I imagine that's going to be the last person until we finally get, Punk and MJF. I'm assuming the match is going to be at either Revolution, which is in February, or was it their Beach Bash show, which is in Cleveland? When you think of beaches, you think of Cleveland. So, yeah. Bleacher Report gave the match an A. I gave it a D. I'm sorry. Dante Martin versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Bleh. Don't care. Martin defeated Hobbs. Of course. Of course he did. Jay Lethal, as John Draper says, came out to make the save. So now Jay Lethal has replaced Leo Rush. Leo Rush, who was Dante Martin's guy, was replaced by Jay Lethal. Not to say it had anything to do with Jay Lethal going online and demanding an apology, but it probably kind of did. But it's good to see Jay Lethal on TV. It's good to see him get some TV time. Hangman comes out. Talks about his next opponent. And then, who the hell was it? Dan Lambert comes out and talks a little bit of shit. And then that's when Lance Archer makes his return to AEW. He looks like he's going to attack Lambert, but he really attacks Hangman. And so Hangman's next big opponent is Lance Archer, which, that'd be an interesting matchup because they're both big guys. And, Hangman's best... I've always said Hangman's his best... the best way he can work is that 15 to 20 minute, more bruiser style. So I'm interested to see how this match goes, and I don't know if anyone saw it. Somebody put up a picture of the AEW from Wednesday. Dude, that fucking arena was just empty. And Jeff Lippman pointed out, he had a source. This wasn't before or after the show, this was during. And you can see on the picture, it shows Hangman's, I guess like his graphic, his Titantron. I want to call him the Titantron because I've been raised to think it's Titantron entrance video. Nobody cared about that. Like, I don't know where they were on Wednesday, if someone can clarify that for me, but ooh, that was bad. That was BAD bad. Like, people want to say that WWE is losing viewers and losing fans in attendance. I mean, I was at SmackDown on December, and that building was like close to full. I mean, yeah, they draped off some sections, but it was close to full. Went to Raw before that, it was full. Like, WWE has no problems filling up attendance. AEW likes to say that they fill up attendance, but was it somebody show me a picture where they put in, cardboard cutouts of fans, quote unquote, to fill in seats because they weren't selling shit? I mean, their pay-per-views can sell. I mean, depending on where they are, maybe like a Chicago or Philadelphia or New York, they can probably sell. I mean, not Long Island, because that was just... that was pretty bad. Yeah, that's doesn't look pretty good for AEW. But those demos, huh? Those demos. That's all that matters. The demos, people. I'm just speaking nonsense. Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb. Fine match. I'm not sure where they're going with this feud, because it seems like everybody needs a feud, but I like Deeb. I mean, I think Deeb is probably the most technically sound woman in the women's division. Shida has kind of grown on me. I didn't like her when she was champion because I forget who said it to me that when she was a champion, it didn't seem like she was fighting. It just seemed like she was just there. She didn't do anything. But her feud with Deeb, I think, is interesting. They can work. Deeb works on Shida's leg, and just beats the shit out of her during the match. And Deeb gets the win because of referee stoppage. Penta versus Matt Hardy. I don't care. I fast forward this because I don't care about Matt Hardy. The Varsity Blondes come out. And why did Black come out? I'm trying to remember why Black came out. Oh yeah, Black came out because Penta talks a little bit of shit. And then Black, the lights go out, of course, and Black came out. And then the Varsity Blondes came out to look for revenge. And the lights go out again, and it's Brody King. Brody King is Malachi Black's new guy. I believe they're also the tag team champions of some company, which I'm blanking on the name. I think it was like PWG. So Brody King, who looks like a big motherfucker. We'll see how he works out. I've never seen him work, so I can't really judge. And Julia Hart has a eye patch on for some reason. Next, you had the Acclaimed versus Bear Country. I don't care. I fast forwarded. This is a benefit of me not watching the show live. I can just watch it afterwards. YouTube TV is pretty great. Like, you can watch the show during and you can rewind if you miss something. Or you can wait till the show's literally finished and you can just watch it right then and there. Like, it already shows up on your DVR. It's pretty cool. Interim TNT Championship match, Sammy Guevara versus Daniel Garcia. I was falling asleep during this match. Like, I was tired. And I was already in bed, so I missed the ending. But Sammy won, of course. And from what I saw, it was just your basic... It was your basic indie match. Like, it was your basic Sammy Guevara match. Like, there was a point where I didn't... Like, okay. I used to... When I first saw Sammy Guevara, I didn't think much of him. And then he started to grow on me. And now I don't like him. And half of it is the whole thing with him and Tay Conti, who she blocked me, by the way. Like, the whole cringiness of it. And just the fact that, the guy could get ran over by a 16-wheeler and still kick out at 2. I don't care for this indie shit. Like, other people may like it, which I don't get why, but it's just like the whole indie shit of let's do 15 Frankensteiners and 15 pile drivers and 20, suicida dives, and let's do 13 Kamehameha waves and let's kick out at 2. It's like, how is that wrestling? Like, I don't want to sound like old man that yells at cloud, but to me, that's not wrestling. That's just gymnastics. That's not my wrestling. I'm sorry. Again, everything has a place in wrestling, but I like watching Wardlow. I like watching Bryan Danielson. I like, I give Hangman a chance with his wrestling, but I don't think he should be champion anymore. But whatever. I'm just waiting for somebody to interject. Long-term booking. Like, what the like, shut up. Again, I don't know why I need to repeat myself. I like AEW. There's things on AEW I like. I like MJF. I like FTR. I like Britt Baker. I like Thunder Rosa. Bryan Danielson, of course, I like. CM Punk, not so much, and we'll talk about it in a bit. But it's just like, I'm getting tired of the indie wrestling shit. I'm getting tired of the fucking hardcore matches where where again, hardcore wrestling, it works in small doses. But it's like with that women's match from a few weeks ago where, let's just bleed all over the place. Let's have thumbtacks. Let's have fucking kendo sticks, which I'm getting tired of kendo sticks and thumbtacks. And let's just not tell any fucking story in the ring. Let's just go out there to do it just because. Like, just getting fucking fed up with it. And NXT doesn't really do the thing anymore because they're going more for homegrown talent and they're actually more for storytelling. And again, not to sound like a WWE, butt kisser, but NXT has been the better wrestling show as of late. Because it's wrestling how it should be. Which is wrestling. No, like none of this. Like let's do 15 super kicks. Let's do our finisher 10 times. Let's kick out at 2. Let's do meaningless hardcore matches with thumbtacks and kendo sticks, which they still use kendo sticks. I mean, that's one thing they need to cut down on. But I think NXT was the better wrestling show this week. Had better wrestling, had a better main event, with better wrestlers in it. So, just my opinion. Don't come knocking on my door and trying to tear my head off. So those were the wrestling shows this week. Did the NXT ratings, or no, not NXT, but the AEW ratings come out yet? Let me look for it. No, they have not. So we don't have that to look forward to. Alright, so what do I talk about first? So Corey Graves, this was announced yesterday? Was it yesterday or Wednesday? But I mean, was this yesterday or Tuesday? But Corey Graves has been cleared to wrestle. He has not wrestled a match since 2014. Hold on, let me look this up, because I know they did that ESPN special about it where they had Corey Graves, Xavier Woods, and Adam Rose. Hold on. When did Corey Graves retire?
December 11th, 2014, according to some information I found on Wikipedia.
December 11th, 2014. I remember. It was on NXT. It was there was a 30 for 30 that was on ESPN, and it was a big special about him. And he had to retire. I mean, he had to retire because of his neck, and he kept wrestling before, but then he had to retire officially because of his neck. And Triple H told him, listen, you can't wrestle anymore. So let me give you this job as an announcer. Which paid off, because Corey Graves, I think, for a while he was the best announcer on the show, because it seemed like he actually had vitriol and like energy and wanted to be out there. And then eventually he just became another WWE clone. I also think it's because they overworked him too much, because it got to the point where he was constantly on TV. Like, you'd see him on Raw, you'd see him on SmackDown, you'd see him on NXT, you'd see him on his own program on the WWE Network. He had some show about tattoos. It's like, dude, like, maybe let this guy do one thing at a time. And then his online presence has been, not so good. So we'll just keep it at that. I still remember him and Kevin Castle had like a nice back and forth on Twitter. And then right when Kevin Castle gets off, Goldust, pops in and just says, a lot of these guys they're all a bunch of nerds that live in their basement and eat Hot Pockets. It's like, first of all, you're an idiot, Goldust. Shut up. I just thought that was funny. He waits for Kevin Castle to get up, because Kevin Castle will tear him apart. So Corey Graves. I mean, again, I never actually saw him wrestle, because, to my knowledge, NXT was not accessible until it was put on the network. Until it was officially put on the network. So, I never saw him wrestle. The only thing I really got about it was he was apparently supposed to be another CM Punk, but not as good. I know Joey Numbers said he was boring. RJ told me he's a little bit more methodical, like Randy Orton. And he's been working out a lot. So, I don't know what he could do. I don't know what his first big feud could be against. I would imagine they would pair him up with Carmella, or maybe they won't. I don't know. He could be he can be a good heel for the company, because, again, people already don't like him. I mean, they already don't like him because of the Carmella thing. So he can be a really good heel for the company. Who you put him up against is, I mean, it has to be someone who's easy, who, I mean, again, the guy hasn't wrestled in 7 years because of a bad neck. So you have to put him in against somebody who you know is going to take care of him. Like, I don't want to see him up against Seth. Like, I really don't, because I mean, again, I'm not a big fan of Corey as a person, but I think I would wince if I ever saw Corey go up for one of those turnbuckle bombs, which those should be banned, by the way. Put him up against Edge. Like, why not? Put him up against Edge. Put him against Biggie. That'd be good. So, and I'm happy for Corey. I mean, he just came back. I mean, we're in the age of comebacks. You know, first with Bryan, now with Edge, and then Paige wants to come back. Go back to your troll cave. Anyways, we have two more things to talk about. Let me see if I can find the post. So, CM Punk put up a tweet yesterday. Was it yesterday? It's actually on Tuesday, where he said, still in a pandemic, if you're waiting at an airport to get stuff signed, you need to stop doing that shit. And he turned off his comments because pretty sure he knew people were going to blow up his comment box and just call him an idiot, which he kind of is an idiot. We're still on this thing with CM Punk where he has to act like an idiot. Or not even an idiot, but just an ass. Like, for CM Punk to complain about why there's still people waiting at the airport to get things signed, like, it reminds me of when Sasha Banks said the same thing, and this is before a pandemic. And I hate that I'm even quoting this guy, but Bubba Ray, you know, I'm just paraphrasing, had said, you should be more worried when there's nobody waiting for you at the airport. Like, again, this is why I can't be a celebrity, because I'd be kind of moody and rude about it. But if you're a celebrity and people know where you're coming, like, be prepared. I mean, be prepared. It's one thing to say, not today, you know, I gotta get ready, blah, 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 maybe tomorrow. But just to tell people straight up, you know, stop doing that shit, it's a pandemic. Which, okay, I'll give you that. It's a pandemic. But why are you, again, you're still complaining about there being fans waiting for you. Like, CM Punk is still on this moody, just kind of self-entitled douche crap. It just CM Punk just comes off as a big baby sometimes. Like, yeah, Anthony Missionary Thomas said it best. He came back to AEW for the wrong reasons. Like, and I don't even want to say wrong because everyone wants to get paid. Money's money. But for him to still continue this whole I'm a starving artist thing, it's laughable. So, like, when he was in Ring of Honor, when he was in WWE, it made sense because he was in a big company full of people that were bigger than him, not just physically, but like star-wise. And he's made enough money in his career. He's gone on to do other things that haven't been as successful. And then he came back to wrestling, and he's still doing the whole, I'm one of you. I'm just one of you. I'm a wrestling fan. I am one of you. I am suffering. Like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You came back because your comic book didn't sell well. Your movies didn't sell well. Your UFC, God damn it, I can't talk. Your UFC career failed twice when you should have just, like, stopped after the first freaking time. And now you want to pull this crap about complaining about fans. Like, I'm sorry, but CM Punk, screw you. Like, screw CM Punk. Like, again, at this point, I'm done with CM Punk. Like, I don't care about his matches. Again, he should have been used as an attraction. Kind of like Edge. Like Edge is better used in matches with top-tier talent. Like, I'm pretty sure Edge, if he really wanted to, would want to show up in NXT and wrestle the guys on there. But WWE is smart. It's like, okay, we don't want to use this guy too much because then it'll kind of sully his reputation. Well, not his reputation, but it'll sully his status as a top guy. With CM Punk, it's like, okay, he's at the point where he's just another wrestler on the roster. He's just another guy. Like, MJF is so much better than him on the mic. So much better. And the difference between him and MJF is MJF doesn't pretend to be an asshole. See, there you go. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about are these PWI awards for 2021. I'll just pull up the list. If this list will hurry the hell up. Oh my god, come on. Okay. So, PWI Illustrated, or Pro Wrestling Illustrated, put out their 2021 awards. And let's look at the awards. Comeback of the Year, CM Punk. Most Popular Wrestler of the Year, CM Punk. Match of the Year, Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa in their Lights Out match. Most Hated Wrestler of the Year, MJF. Rookie of the Year, Jade Cargill. Most Improved Wrestler, Britt Baker. Indie Star of the Year, Nick Gage. Okay. Woman of the Year, Britt Baker. Group of the Year, The Inner Circle. Tag Team of the Year, The Young Bucks. Rivalry of the Year, Chris Jericho versus MJF. Most Inspirational Wrestler of the Year, Edge. Wrestler of the Year, Kenny Omega. Only one WWE person on there. And I put on my Facebook, can you say Tony Khan is paying me without saying Tony Khan is paying me? So, let me just break down the winners. So, Comeback of the Year, CM Punk, okay. Most Popular Wrestler of the Year, CM Punk, okay. Match of the Year, Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. I mean, that was one of my favorite matches, but I thought the WrestleMania main event with Roman, Bryan, and Edge was a better match. Most Hated Wrestler of the Year, MJF, well, definitely. Rookie of the Year, Jade Cargill, hell no. Hell no. It's Steiner. That's Rookie of the Year, Steiner. Most Improved Wrestler, Britt Baker, I would say MJF, but, that's fine. Indie Star of the Year, Nick Gage. I don't really give two shits about the Indies, so I have no idea who's out there. And Nick Gage is not a wrestler. Like, let's just be fair. Woman of the Year, Britt Baker. She is definitely the most over woman in wrestling. Like, at this point, more over than Becky. So, go with that. Group of the Year, The Inner Circle. Ugh. Okay. I mean, there hasn't really been too many groups. Like, not even WWE, so I can't really think of another group, but I think by default they win it because they're the only group. Tag Team of the Year, the Young Bucks. This pains me to say, but I'll agree because they've at least been the most consistent team. Like, I would say our Curry Bros a better team, but they just got together, so. Rivalry of the Year, Chris Jericho versus MJF. This was probably the only feud that wasn't like where I don't know how to put it. This wasn't a feud where like matches were completely fucking stupid. I mean, there was the Blood and Guts match where Jericho got pushed off the cage, and you can clearly see debris and cardboard like hanging out, and he's claiming that it was steel. But I mean, come on. They had the match at All Out, which was probably one of the better matches on the show because it looked like a wrestling match. I guess probably because this seemed like the only feud in wrestling that actually had some fire to it. So I'll give it that. Most inspirational wrestler of the year, Edge. I'll give him that. Wrestler of the year, Kenny Omega, Roman Reigns. Come on. Come on. Roman has had better matches. He's been in bigger, high-profile matches. Kenny is maybe a strong second, but he is not the wrestler of the year. So, I mean, there's really no point in getting mad at these lists because it's basically a popularity contest. Like, you know where PWI and Dave Meltzer and guys like Brian Alvarez, you know where their bread is buttered. Like, you know who's paying them. So, but that's the show. That's the show, guys. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody who's on the show. Wrestling Soup, I know, is doing a show in a bit. Kevin Castle, Trez, Baseball Chicky, RJ, Ruben Prime, Jeff Flipman, Steve, Wrestling Court, which I just did a show with them last week, so listen to that. Texas Podcast Massacre, Breaking the Apocalypse, and False Count Radio. And just shout out to everybody that has a show. Anyways, guys, take care. I'll see you next week. Also, sign up for the Patreon. Just $5 a month. That's a pretty good deal. Won't find it anywhere else. $5 a month, people. And you get to hear me do shows with Jeff Littman, RJ, and Ruben Prime. Again, shout out to those boys. But anyways, guys, I'll see you next time. Same week, same channel, same show. And be good to each other. Make sure to get vaccinated. Make sure to get your booster shot. And just to be safe, get a COVID test. I got mine done on Monday. It was a quick test. I got my results in 10 minutes. It was negative. Kind of hoping it was positive so I can have some time off, but, whatever. I'm just kidding. But not really. But anyways, guys, take care. Have a great night, and peace.